Hello, good evening. This is Jess Farmer from the Gymbia in Hackney Wick, and tonight I'm going to do a video all orientated around breathing techniques and how you can use the breath to condition the core. Before I go into that, just like to mention I've been spending a lot of time putting together an email list, a mailing list, and I've put together lots of really good content for it, so I'll put it in the notes below. Sign up for it. You're going to get a series over a week detailing all different areas of health, like your nutrition, your movement, breathing as well, thought processes, mindset. So it's going to give a really good scope over the next 7 days if you sign up for it, and then from there I'm going to be doing weekly tips and tricks all related to health and well-being. So getting into it, breathing. So if I asked you what the most important nutrient for our bodies was, what would you say? Would it be, say, protein, vitamins, minerals, water? You'd be a bit closer to the mark on the last one. Our most important nutrient is actually oxygen. Now, our muscles use it to work, hence the term aerobic exercise. So using oxygen as a fuel, along with other sources of fuel that comes from our food. So being that oxygen is going to be our most important, yes Lambert, yo, feeling the love. Being that oxygen is our most important nutrient, could it be a good idea to make sure that we're breathing efficiently and effectively to give our bodies everything that it needs? Could be a good idea. So the reason I'm doing this video is because many people do not actually breathe efficiently at all. Now, many people breathe into the chest and not into the belly, into the diaphragm. So bit of scope on the lungs. You can think of your lungs as, well, if you spread out your lungs, the surface area of them would take up approximately 2 tennis courts, which is a pretty big space. Now, if you're just breathing into the chest, you're only going to use 2/3, 66.6% of your tennis courts. So that's a lot of space that you're not utilising to be able to absorb oxygen into your body, to feed the muscles, feed your brain, feed the organs. It's just not going to be efficient. Also as well, we have a complex detoxification system within our body, and 70% of our detoxification comes through breathing and oxygen, flushing toxins out of our body just through what we breathe. So it's a really good idea to be breathing efficiently. Now, what can cause chest breathing is I did a video a couple of days ago about the transverse abdominis, the TVA, the innermost abdominal wall. Now, this muscle is responsible for drawing the belly button in. Okay, so in terms of breathing diaphragmatically, it's going to be the mechanism to pull your belly button in and exhale. So if you're a chest breather, your diaphragm's going to be up here. Now you're only going to use 2/3 of your lung capacity. Now, if you breathe into the belly, this is what happens to your diaphragm. So the diaphragm is the core muscle that forms the top, sticks to the bottom of your rib cage. You exhale, the diaphragm comes back up. Now, inhale, then you're suddenly creating the space to breathe into. So this is why we can utilise 100% of our lung capacity through diaphragmatically breathing, as opposed to chest breathing, whereby we don't physically have the space to be able to breathe in as much oxygen, whereas breathing using the diaphragm, using the belly, and we create that space, we can get more oxygen into our system. In terms of exercise, you're going to recover faster from bout of exercise. In terms of, I'm going to talk about stress for a second. So in terms of stress, we actually have the capability to change our biochemistry just through breathing. Okay, so we have something called cortisol running, which is our stress hormone. Now, stressful situations, be them emotional or physical, will cause a rise in the stress hormone cortisol. Now, When we breathe into our chest, that actually continues the rise of cortisol within us. Now, as an example of this, whenever you see anyone panicking, how do they breathe? Like, bit of an exaggeration there. Anyone who likes Terminator, do the Miles Dyson. And so we're breathing into the chest, which actually sends our stress further up. Now, what does anyone ever tell anyone who's having a panic attack to do? Breathe, 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 breathe. Take a deep breath. Take a deep breath, and through the breathing, it brings them down. It's because breathing, we actually reduce cortisol levels and put ourselves in a rest and digest kind of place. Now, I'll touch on the nervous system. We have two branches of the nervous system, sympathetic and parasympathetic. Now, sympathetic is your fight or flight. There's a tiger in the room. I need to go. I need to do something. I need to fight or flight. Parasympathetic is your rest and digest. So you breathe into the chest, you're going sympathetic, you're going fight or flight, which is your stress hormones, all sorts of bad stuff. Weight, retains weight, makes us feel bad, breaks down the muscle tissues, all sorts of bad stuff. Whereas rest and digest, breathing diaphragmatically, brings us down, brings cortisol levels down. So if ever you're in a stressed out situation or you're not feeling too good, for whatever reason, come straight to the breath. Okay? So going on to exactly how to breathe in this manner, because this is not going to be very easy for everyone. Now, especially if your transverse abdominis is turned off. So I've been speaking about that in the last couple of days, your innermost abdominal wall. Now, if you've had an operation, a C-section, your abdominal wall is going to be destroyed from the operation. So you may find this diaphragmatic breathing very difficult. Now, the good news is that if this is you and you have an abdominal wall that's been turned off by an operation or inactivity, sitting at a desk, then this is your first port of call to start reconditioning it. Now, imagine if the abdominal wall is doing nothing, and imagine how many times you breathe per day. In, out, in, out. The abdominal wall is now working, even though you think, oh well, it's only breathing. Well, you're going to breathe several thousand times per day, so this is your first port of call to begin strengthening and reconditioning the abdominal wall. So how you do it? You want to breathe in through your nose, belly comes out. Breathe out, belly comes in. Now, before I go more into that, to tell if you're a chest breather, look in the mirror, and it may just be subtle, but look for your shoulders coming up. It might only be a very slight movement, but if your shoulders come up, chances are you're a chest breather. Also, if you breathe predominantly through your mouth, you're probably going to be a chest breather. Now, thousands of times of doing this can cause postural deviations. You're going to have two muscles there called the levator scapulae, which go up into your neck. Now, another word for them is the stress buckets. Remember, stress response, chest breathing, going up and down. Now, whenever we get stressed, we get these 2 points in here. So if ever you're stressed, get someone to massage out 2 little points here. It will hurt, but you're going to release it there. Anyway, a little bit of a tangent, but back to the breathing. Breathe in, stomach comes out. Breathe out, stomach comes in. Breathe in, belly out. Out, belly in. So you want to get into the habit of just using the belly to breathe. So if you do that in the mirror, if you do go from chest breathing, where you can see a slight shrug of the shoulders, your aim is to breathe just with your belly. So belly in, belly out. That's all you need to do. You don't even need to think about breathing, just think about belly in, belly out, and the changes of pressure within your body will cause that to happen, because if you breathe in, that's going to increase the pressure in the lungs, which the abdominal wall is going to push in, increase the pressure, which exhales. Breathe out, it's going to create a negative pressure which then draws air into you. So all you need to do, okay? So the first port of call is to really get into the habit of this. Thanks, Paul. Really get into the habit of this. Now, when I reconditioned my breathing, it took me 2 weeks. 2 weeks to get into the habit of coming out of chest breathing and into diaphragmatic breathing. Now, I noticed once this was integrated, I noticed a massive reduction in stress. Really makes a big difference, and just general well-being. So it took me 2 weeks of checking myself. Ah, God, I'm breathing into the chest again. I'm breathing into, okay, back to the diaphragm, back to the diaphragm, back to the diaphragm. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Repetition is the mother of skill, but only if there is skill in the repetition. So make sure you've got the form correct first, and then just keep repeating. You're going to be forming new neural pathways, new neural networks, new neural grooves, which is going to rewire your breathing pattern. Now, further down the line, this is going to help you a hell of a lot, because as I mentioned earlier, if you're breathing up here too much, you're going to start getting a sore neck. You can get like postural deviations. You might get your neck migrating forward head posture, which causes its own set of problems. So yeah, you want to get into the habit of that. Now, the second port of call, if you really want to start conditioning your core, and this TVA. So if you like, this is going to be a really good idea if you're a boxer and you're going in for a fight and you really want to start conditioning this. You can get into breathing techniques such as the one I'm about to show you. So I'll show you coming up. So these are called piston breaths. So you want to breathe solely through your nose, not through your mouth, because the nose is your abdominal wall has to work a lot harder, because there's a lot smaller tubes for air to go through, so it creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance on the TVA, which resistance training, lifting weights. Whenever we provide a resistance, the muscle has to work harder. Okay, so piston breaths look like this. So. And then you suck your diaphragm up into the chest. So I'm going to do that again, but so you can see my belly. So basically what I'm doing is in, out, just using the TVA. Now, if you really do this hard, you can feel your TVA fire up, you can feel your whole core musculature. If you really go for it, you can get a burn inside your belly, which that's when you know you're really conditioning. So I'll do it from the side. Breathe everything out, and then suck. Breathe with everything out of your lungs. Suck your diaphragm up into your belly. Okay? Now, that final suck of the diaphragm into your belly, where it's going to stretch out your diaphragm, which is a really, really good idea. As a tight diaphragm, again, can cause postural deviations, can cause you hunching over like that. This is going to be particularly true for people who do lots of crunches. So I recommend doing sort of 4 rounds of piston breaths. We're really going for it. You're really going to feel the core fire up there, and you're going to condition it. Now, just to end the video, I'm going to show you the results of what you can get through core conditioning. So I'm going to take a punch to my gut. Now, I'm going to do this like pretty hard. You may not sort of be able to see on the video or not, but you can see I've got friends to punch me there as hard as they can before and not moved. This is what you can get through core conditioning just through breathing techniques. Now, I've not been doing any sort of crazy abdominal work. I've just been doing lots of breathing techniques, just like this to condition it, because these piston breaths lead really well into meditation. I was going to talk a little bit about meditation tonight, but that's a huge topic. I could talk for a week about that on its own, so I'm left that for another time. So if you want to take a punch, if you're a boxer and you want to condition your core to be able to take an impact, you really want to condition this TVA. And anytime you take an impact, you want to bring your belly in like this, okay? So you really want to bring it in. So every time you bring that TVA in, every time you bring the belly button in, your TVA is going to be activated. Your own natural weight belt, front to back, and it's going to give you a hell of a lot of stability. So you want to take a punch by bring that in and activating it. So it's going to be funny. Okay, so TVA activated. Okay, so this is fine. It hurts on the external abdominals, but it's not as if like I'm going to be winded or anything like that. So again, TVA in. Okay, so this is the kind of and it'd be better if I had someone else do that, so you can see how hard it was. But yeah, this is the kind of strength that you can get in your core just through breathing. So yeah, let me know how you get on, guys. I'll just end on one point. There's an old Indian proverb that we've got a finite number of breaths before we die. So now the science behind that is that we age through a process called oxidization. So oxidization is the same reason why food rots. It's the same reason why metals rust. And now this is why we age. Oxygen is great, it's a nutrient, but also it's what causes us to age. So if we can become more efficient with our breathing, we're going to slow our aging down, and it could very well add years onto your life. Okay, so yeah, get those breathing techniques on the go, and basically you're going to live longer. Just done you guys a favor. So yeah, that's the end of the video. Thank you very much for watching. Like I said, I've got my newsletter, and I'm also down in Hackney Wick, so if anyone wants to come in for a free consultation or just talk about their breathing or their posture or anything else I've mentioned this week, then yeah, please come down. I'll be real happy to see you and give you some pointers. Tomorrow I'm going to be doing a video talking about crunching. It's going to be a rant. And what it can do to our posture and how to fix it if you are a serial cruncher. I'm going to give it a break on Saturday, and then Sunday I'm going to talk about how digestive problems can cause your core to completely turn off, which is going to lead nicely into next week's series, which is all going to be centered around nutrition. Okay, cheers Paul. Okay, thanks a lot guys, good night, and yeah, see you soon, bye.